Good morning. I'm McGarren Flack, and I am going to open up an order that I got from Raintree Nursery. I ordered last fall, and it took them a while to be able to put it together and ship it because of freezing temperatures and stuff. It is currently March. I requested them to send it to me in March so that I could get it in the ground before we get too much heat in the St. George area. I'm gonna take this and unpackage it, see how well they did with the packing, and also the quality of the plants. Let's start opening it. Lay it down softly. You might be wondering, why is McGarren using such a large razor? And that's an excellent question. I just didn't go and get my utility knife. Okay, first tree that is coming out. This looks like a pawpaw. So I have two different varieties of pawpaw that I bought, and it's starting to grow. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. This is the second pawpaw that was grown. It is not starting to bud yet, which is fine. These, I don't know which one is which, but I've got two. And here's the third one. This one is a pineapple guava that should be able to grow here in St. George. These other two, I'm not quite sure if they're gonna grow here, but I wanted to try it out. The other thing that I thought was interesting is when they take the pawpaw and they plant them, ideally, you want to have them in a long tube like this for the root system to be able to go straight. If you plant them in a shorter pot like this, then that taproot tends to coil around, and it's really hard to get that taproot out and planted correctly. And hopefully they'll survive. But I wanted to get these in the ground before they started leafing out to hopefully increase their chances of success. The problem that I got last year from ordering the pawpaws, one place sent them in just a regular pot. Another company sent them in a longer, narrow pot like this for the taproot. The ones that were shipped in this were much more resilient. They had better growth. They were doing great. The ones in this pot, they basically kind of died. But it was the first year, it was in the summer, and we had a really hot heat wave that came in for a couple weeks and killed some plants. So I'm gonna take these guys and plant them in the ground. Downside to the packing is, they put plastic around each of these, which is fine to keep the moisture in. But if it had to ship for more than a couple of days, which it took 4 days to get here, and I'm in Utah, I think they're in California or Washington or Oregon, one of those states. But One Green World tends to pack their stuff a lot better than Raintree. But as long as it gets there safe and sound, it doesn't look like there's much damage to any of these trees. So now for the fun part, we get to plant them in the ground. So follow me outside, we'll get them in the ground, and I'll talk more about how to plant these things.
First off, I'm going to plant the pineapple guava. That's what this plant is. And it looks pretty good, especially coming right out of the package. And I'm compacting the ground that's going to be underneath it so that it doesn't settle as much. Now, technically, I should remove all of this compost that is around the root system outside of the hole so that I don't have it mixed in with the soil. But pineapple guava is a pretty resilient plant in terms of soil quality. And so I just mixed it in there with it. And that big loop is my watering line. And what I'm creating is actually a berm. I'm trying to create a closer berm to the pineapple guava so that when I water it on a daily basis, it will stay in closer towards the plant. So here I am creating that berm, and I'm putting the water line further out because I want the roots to go out. So I have those on an automatic timer, and so it will be watering further out, and I will also be watering it closer into the plant. And I did make sure that I had it a couple inches higher than ground level so that if it does settle, it'll settle at ground level. So there I am, just filling in a little bit of water and also taking some mulch and placing it around the tree. Now this is a very light layer of mulch that I'm putting around it. It's maybe 2 inches. And so later on I will get more mulch and put it over the top of it. So I'm taking this mulch and adding it to the pineapple guava. We get temperatures up to 115 on some days now, but as of right now, we are getting temperatures at 110 degrees during the summer. Sometimes it drops down to about 100 degrees, but that layer of mulch is really, really important for it not to heat up ground too much. I have a video that I made about shade cloth and how good it does. So not only does shade cloth help out with the temperature and keeping it low, but also the mulch makes it so that the temperature is cooler on the ground and you don't bake the roots. That will kill your tree, especially newly planted trees. So I water them most of the time, every day for the first couple weeks, and then I go every other day. And here I'm planting the Susquehanna Pawpaw. This is on the upper portion of the orchard, so it's higher in elevation, about 20 feet. And I have them all planted in a row. And the Susquehanna, there I'm compacting the bottom. I'm showing you, look, it's a Susquehanna. And you hold the top of the tree, you see all that root that has bound around. It is coiled up because it was in that single-gallon pot. And the single-gallon pot is not good for pawpaw roots. They tend to bind like that, and the Susquehanna, I hope it makes it. So we will see in later videos. So again, here I am making that berm. It is leveled, put up a couple inches higher. It's hard to see from this point, but I'm compacting the soil so that the water will kind of seep in. I put this little plastic thing so the water can go all the way around it. And why would I throw dirt in there? Because I'm trying to level out the berm. It's not put completely and perfectly level. I'm just trying to get there close to it. So here's the Pennsylvania golden pawpaw, and you hold it at the top and you tap from the back side and it comes out. You can see a little bit of root that is coming around the bottom. It does look like a younger tree, but I don't have to worry about roots being bound or anything, and hopefully it'll grow. So here again, compacting the ground, making a berm. And I do this with all of them. The soil is the same with all these trees. It's sand, a little bit of the native soil, like maybe 20% of the native soil, maybe some perlite in some areas. And I just want good draining soil because the soil tends to get compacted and I want it to be able to breathe. So anyways, I hope that is informative for you. I have future videos to be able to show how well these have progressed. Thank you and have a stellar day.